if you had to choose an animal, which animal would you choose as the leader of your political party? And which animal would you choose as the deputy for your political party?
Nigel.cecil, calling things out as you like it, especially for his fair-minded friends.
Chugabuzz, welcome. Why am I asking you to choose an animal as your party political leader and another animal as the deputy party political leader? Well, all will be revealed at the end of this video when you've chosen. And please take your time to choose an animal. You've got a horse, a dog, a budgie, a rabbit and a cat. So please choose two of them, setting aside all your other thoughts and saying, which animals would I like as the leaders of my political party? Now, one of the things we're discussing in the previous videos when we come to communication skills was feeling the music inside of you. You've got to feel the music, because music is the universal language of love. And having said that, how do we assess what makes people tick? Unless we know what makes them tick. If we are a trainer, a rehearser, well, how do we apply it to that person? Because rules as such are made to be broken, especially in communication. Because, do you know something? Winners never do what everyone else does. They always do something that's a little different. So if you restrict people by the rules, then you're going to fail to communicate properly. And that's why music is so important, because music, there's only a few chords. What is it? C, F and G, and you combine them and you get all sorts of hit records and also all sorts of flops. It's the person inside that develops the tune. And that's what we try to do. Graham Davies, the presentation coach, award-winning author and coach to celebrity politicians, they said, well, it's not natural. And it isn't. It's not normal. I always say, listen, you're here for this media coaching session. May I just say, none of you are normal, because normal people don't want to be a politician. And equally, for showbiz types like we're not normal, because normal people don't want to get on the stage. Don't put your daughter on the stage, Mrs. Worthington. So we start from that premise. All those years ago, when I used to go to Edge Hill College, a posh university now, but you learnt the basics. And the basics are music. Music. Feel it inside of you. Feel that beat. So we apply it. We analyse everyone. And when it comes to assessing what someone's done well, what's it all about? And so we looked, like most of you, or many of you, at the debate between RISHI SUNAK and KEIR STARMER. Am I supposed to say Sir KEIR STARMER all the time? We'll come to that probably in a minute, if I remember, because I just say what I think. I have no script, and so I do forget things. But we know we forget. So if we are aware of our limitations as members of a team, and that's the thing, you see, a winner has a team around them. And it's not just any team, it's a team that represents all the colours of the rainbow. Because unless you've got everyone represented in your team, you become focused on something, well, it's so restrictive again, it fails to communicate. So back to that debate. I'm not having a go at KEIR STARMER. I'm not having a go at RISHI SUNAK. I'm just using the things as examples of how we apply media coaching based on music, building trust. Now, one of the things that happened was someone said, did you, yes, yeah, I know, Paul, you got in touch with moi about this one. Did we believe KEIR STARMER when they said, well, If it comes to the national health, I would not go private even if it was one of my family. And you could almost hear the gasp. What? What? Surely we can't believe that. And I didn't either. But then you see, from a presentation point of view, I thought, actually, what Keir Starmer said, from the way he was standing as a politician, his answer was correct. But somebody who was well up on media coaching would have said, hang on, when you go on stage, you're there as two people. One as a politician and two as a person, equal to everyone else. But Keir got trapped. He got knocked down on a zebra crossing and everyone wants to blame them. Because we all get knocked down on zebra crossings. I mean, I did some 10 years or so ago, and everyone wants to blame you, saying, no, just a minute, I'm on the zebra crossing. And so no one has related, I would suspect, to Sir Keir. You're two people when you're there. You're the leader of the Labour Party, but you're also Keir Starmer, the family man. Now, you have to stick by your principles. Are you with me so far? Stick by your principles. And sticking by your principles, you're bound to say, as a politician, one of my core principles is using the national health free at point of service for everyone. But you see, there's two types of principles. There are core social principles, which involve the police, the NHS, defence, education. They are core social principles. So as a politician, you would never break them. But also, as a human being, a family man, there are core life principles. And core life principles are your religion, your ethnicity, your cultural background, your family. They are core life principles. And they're separate from core social principles, like different sorts of music. Jazz is nothing like pop music. And so you have to say, oh, we've just swapped tunes there. And I suspect that caught them off guard. They were being the politicians. So I understood where Sir Keir was coming from. Because you see, if you suddenly said, well, Mum says at 90 odd, Nigel, I've not really got that long to live and I love my grandchildren, but my eyesight's failing a bit and the national health, well, it's a 2-year waiting list for having your cataracts done. Do you think, no, we're not having that done, you're going to wait. No. I can't believe that a family man would say to Mum, you've got to wait. And that's why the trust in Sir Keir for some, well, they sort of thought, no, we can't believe that. But it really is down to, would Sir Keir break his core social principles? And I can acclaim the fact that he probably wouldn't, which is what he probably meant. And when it came to his core life principles, he would uphold them. And core life principles actually supersede core social principles. That's what makes us human beings. That's what makes us want to save a drowning person without thinking of ourselves. Those core life principles. So on that one, I've got to say, but it's how you get it across. How you get it across. And it's the other thing. Now, the other one. And again, I apologise for picking on Keir Starmer. It's just the way the cookies crumbled at this time. But when you look at pop music and everything, you know that a tune spreads out. It's interactive. And you've got to be careful how loud you say it, when you say it, and how you react. So when Sir Keir Starmer later on said, when RISHI SUNAK, and Sir Keir Starmer called RISHI SUNAK the Prime Minister all the time. Why? You see, that's another thing, how they get into this trap. When you are campaigning, Rishi Sunak should not call themselves Prime Minister, and neither should Sir Keir Starmer call Rishi Sunak Prime Minister, because Rishi Sunak is singing the tune of the Conservative Party. He is the leader of the Conservative Party. But when it comes to Prime Minister, he's the King's Prime Minister, appointed by the King to be the Prime Minister to represent all the people equally and fairly. Rishi Sunak is the People's Prime Minister. So, Sir Keir, when you're addressing Rishi Sunak, it's, hello, Rishi Sunak, leader of the Conservative Party, not Rishi Sunak, Prime Minister. You might think I'm splitting hairs there, but it's all down to music. The way you package the tune gives the overall effects. I could do with a drink of water. I'm talking too long, Hilary. Let's get on with this. I'm sorry about this. So there we are. So when Sir Keir happened to say a little bit later on, well, you're a liar. I go, what? You're a liar at that level? No. And that's because Sir Keir, like Rishi Sunak, has been drawn into this melee of, oh, well, you said that, and you said that's not really at First Division level what it's all about. I mean, can you imagine Putin and others who dislike Britain will say, well, look at the mess they're in. The guy who's predicted to be the future Prime Minister is now calling the current Prime Minister a liar? I mean, everyone knows who watches this regular. I'm involved with Equity, the trade union for professional actors, variety artists, entertainers and other creatives. And if I was to say the General Secretary of Equity is a liar, you can imagine the activists, the left-wing socialist radical group, would be there attacking me. How dare you say that? You've brought Equity into disrepute. We are going to throw the rule book at you and bring disciplinary proceedings against you. So if a trade union would do that to an ordinary member, excuse me, is that then okay for First Division politicians to call each other liars? I'm sorry, that brings the nation into disrepute, especially with those abroad. That's something that shouldn't happen. Now again, I'm not blaming Sir Keir Starmer, because it's the way the world's moving. I mean, I say, I'm just an old man looking back at past experiences. But could you imagine the late Her Majesty the Queen saying anything like that? They'd probably say, oh, well, when it comes to discussing policies, I think how you select statistics to justify your policy, well, the reason you did it, recollections of what they actually mean, may vary. Such a nicer way of saying, we don't believe what you're saying. And those are the things you have to be aware of. I mean, like Rishi Sunak. I mean, have you realised? I mean, everyone knows what mother and father did. They're always telling us. I mean, Keir is again. I mean, Rishi Sunak. Have you seen what the Conservative Party are promoting? Have you got the leaflet? I mean, yes, I'll try and can we try and put it on the screen? They've done a thing like a mug they're selling for a £30 donation, and it says, stick with our clear plan, because it's saying Keir Starmer, well, they've got no plan. Keir had 4 years to tell us what he stands for. 4 years. Now they're attacking the Labour Party, leaving themselves wide open for Sir Keir Starmer to come back and say, oi, I've had 4 years, you've had 14 years in power and achieved nothing. Stunned silence. And that's the problem when in the previous video I said, will you stop attacking each other? Will you tell us what you stand for? I mean, when you come to it, trigger warning now, I'm going to mention Donald Trump. Are you ready for this one? Why do you think Donald Trump, despite him being branded a womanizer, a liar, a cheat, all sorts of things? Now, I'm not saying which side I'm on, but take all that on board. Why are they still popular? Why? It's because when it comes to voting, we'll forgive almost anything, provided we trust them to do what they say they're going to do. I mean, just think of it. Margaret Thatcher, Tony Blair, two opposites. But why did they get elected? The thing for most people with Margaret Thatcher, they didn't vote for her because they liked her policies. But that phrase, you turn if you want to, the lady's not for turning. It struck a chord. It struck a chord. We can trust her to do what she said she was going to do. Now, a few years later on, you say, she never did it. She didn't keep to her word. Too late then. It's what you think at the time. And at the time, there were many who trusted her to do what she said she was going to do. Equally with Tony Blair, be a doer, not a critic. Tony Blair also said he had no reverse gear. It was all moving forward. Things are going to get better. And everyone believed that moment, that time, when they came to put the cross in the ballot box. And you can say, well, he didn't do that. Doesn't matter what they did afterwards. What matters when you come to put that cross. And at this moment in time in America, there are people who trust Donald Trump to do what he says he's going to do more than they're prepared to put their faith in Joe Biden. Now, that may change, which is why we always say there's a magic moment, because there's always a magic moment in pop business. That surprise hit. And the team around RISHI SUNAK and KEIR STARMER should be looking. Where's the magic moment? Where's the hit record? That opportunity. John Major, his agent, spotted it. Gordon Brown, they missed it. But that's another story, the magic moment. Where are we up to now? You see, so when we analyse all these things, I can hear some of you saying, what about Nigel Farage? Now, Sir Ed Davey, well, they're floating. Which animals have you chosen which might indicate you're going for Ed Davey? But Nigel Farage, what is in Nigel Farage's favour? The fact that a lot of people will be saying, we trust Nigel to do what he says he's going to do. Now, if Nigel can sustain that impression, the conviction that he is going to do what he says he's going to do, then that will have a great impact on the poll. And he won't just be stealing from Conservatives, he'll be stealing from disillusioned Tories and others in the middle, because you're only really going for the undecided, the waverers, because those who, we've always voted Labour, we'll never vote anything else, we've always voted Conservative, and they all know that. You see, we've always supported Manchester United, we've always supported Chelsea, and there's the thing, you see, in First Division, do you think the managers don't know what makes their players tick? Of course they do. Of course they do. I don't know, anecdotally, if it's true, but when David Beckham had problems with Manchester United, there were those who said, well, Sir Alex treated him like a son. He understood the problems David was facing. So it wasn't just a case of saying, I'm the manager. No. And I know firsthand, of course, because I used to pal around a little bit with George Best, and I'd met Sir Matt Busby, and there was that relationship where they got to know what made their players tick. And that's feeling the music, that conviction. So I hope that's explained some of the things. Looking for the magic moment. Have you got things you want to, anything you want me to say, Hilary? I think I've more or less covered everything, really. So those are just some of the ideas about media communication, feeling the music inside of you. Now, yeah, are we going to come to this? Yes. Which animals have you chosen? Go on, which animals? Are you ready for this one? If you've chosen a dog first and a cat second, then you're likely to be a Conservative. Yes, yes, all right. If you've chosen a cat first and a dog second, you're likely to be Labour. If it's a rabbit first and a budgie second, then you're likely to be a Liberal Democrat. And if it's a horse first and a dog second, you're likely to be with Nigel Farage and the Reform Party. Now, we can go through and explain all of those things, and you can say, well, it wouldn't apply anywhere. Of course it doesn't apply anywhere. If we were doing this coaching assessment session in Australia, well, some of the animals would be substituted for wallabies and kangaroos. In India, it would be a monkey and an elephant. In America, it would be a cow and an eagle, and so on. You vary all these tests, and they're meant to be fun. Meant to be fun, because when you're laughing, many a true word is said in jest. You learn more about someone when you're socialising and enjoying and have a good laugh with them, when you're dancing with them, when you've got the music inside of you, than when you're trying to do things formally. Which is why on many topics I agree with Graham Davies. The presentation coach, it's not normal. You have to feel the music inside of you. So I hope this little explanation has been helpful, especially as, of course, all those down there who are much younger, well, they have a natural arrogance that we have to applaud, because, Nigel, why do we need to bother with you? Because you'll be dead in a few years and we'll still be here. Yes, I know that. But you see, there are lessons to be learnt, and saying after the event, we will learn them, we'll say, well, hang on a minute, we learned them some time ago. Why are you just ignoring us? But ignore us if you wish, because at the end of the day, I won't be here in that many years' time. But, well, I hope it's not that soon, but until then, may the music be inside of you, and just be ready for the magic moment. Bye for now.